This video is going to cover equations that might be out of the normal category. The first one we're going to talk about is when you have a coefficient that is a fraction. So in a problem like this, I've got the equation listed twice. We have 2/3 m equaling 14, and we have it over here as well. We're going to look at the one on the left side first. So you have this coefficient that's a fraction. Normally, if you had a whole number fraction like 5m, you'd divide out by 5. Well, if you divide out by 2/3, that just looks kind of weird. You don't want to do that. The thing you want to realize is dividing by a fraction, dividing by 2/3, is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So when your coefficient is a fraction, instead of dividing by the fraction, you want to multiply by the reciprocal. So check it out over on the right side. I'm going to write in a times 3/2, and I'm going to write in a times 3/2 over here. Now I've got it as over 1 because you want both terms as fractions when you're multiplying. So over here on the left side of the equation, if you did 3/2 times 2/3, it's going to turn into a big 1. So you're going to have 1m. That's the multiplicative inverse happening there. It turns into 1. Now over here you can do some cross-canceling. You can divide out a 2 into both of them. So you have 7 times 3 over 1 times 1. You don't even need to worry about the 1 times 1 anymore, since a denominator of 1 just makes it into a whole number. So I'm going to drop down the m, and I'm going to do 7 times 3, and I get 21. If you do 2/3 of 21, you're going to get 14. If you work all that out. So you always multiply a fraction coefficient by its reciprocal if you're looking to get rid of it. So let's try this. We've got 3/4 of n plus 5 equaling 17. Well, just like what we would do before, we still get rid of the constant first. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Now we have our 3/4 coefficient that we want to get rid of. We're going to multiply it by 4/3, both sides. And I'm going to put that 12 over 1. This gets canceled out, turns into a 1n. And over here we can do some more cross-canceling. Now you might not always be able to do cross-canceling, but a lot of times you will. It makes life easy when you do it. So you're going to divide both sides by 3, and you get 4 and 1. You don't need to worry about the denominator anymore, because 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 4 is 16. So when you work this out, when you plug in n back into the original problem, if you do 3/4 times 16 and then add 5, you do get 17. It all works out. Here's another one. If you want, pause it, try working it out on your own, see what you come up with. We're going to add 3 to both sides. You get negative 23 and 3 becoming negative 20. Then you multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the coefficient. That turns into a 1. You can do some canceling here. You're going to get a 1 down below, and this is going to turn into a negative 5. Now I've got the negative over here. So this turns into 1n. The denominators we don't have to worry about anymore. Negative 5 times 5 gives you negative 25. When you work that out, it will work out to negative 23. So this equation is a little bit different because now we have n dividing by a number. In the past we were always multiplying the variable by a number. Now we're dividing by a number. All you need to think about is do the opposite operation. You're dividing by 4. To get rid of that, you're going to multiply by 4. And you're going to do it to both sides. Over here, you're going to think of it as 4 over 1. That way they can do some nice cross-canceling. Over to the right, since your answer is a whole number, you can just keep it as a whole number. So they're going to cancel. You're going to get n equaling 20. And when you plug in a 20 in for n, that does work out to 5. 20 over 4, 20 divided by 4 does equal 5. Go ahead and pause it. Try this one on your own. So the plan of attack would be to add 6 to both sides, then multiply both sides by 3. So we're going to take care of the add 6. We're going to drop it. And then, now the mistake a lot of kids make is they'll say, oh, 9 divided by 3 is going to be 3, so the answer is negative 3. But you need to remember you're multiplying both sides by a 3. So the answer becomes, that all cancels out to a 1n. The answer becomes negative 27. And hopefully, even if you got a negative 3 as an answer, if you made that mistake, you'd plug it back in and realize that it wouldn't work. When you plug in a negative 27, this works out to a negative 9, and then negative 9 minus 6 does work out to negative 15. Go ahead and pause it, see if you can figure out what to do. Our plan of attack is going to be to subtract 8 to get rid of the constant and then multiply both sides by negative 7. Subtracting 8, you're going to get a negative 6, and then multiply both sides by negative 7. You end up getting, canceling out, and then you end up getting a positive 42. When you plug that back in, 42 divided by negative 7 is negative 6, and then you add 8, that does end up at a 2. That's about it. Hope this helps. Best of luck to you.